It's a London rivalry, and it's always got a bit of a twist to it, isn't it? It's West Ham against Tottenham. It's the live game for you this Saturday lunchtime on Sky Sports Premier League, and as always on a Friday, Danny is here to cast his eye on something that we should keep an eye on in this game. So what have you got for us this week?
I just want to have a look at West Ham this week. I think Tottenham, we've done a bit of them over the last few months. I think it'd be good to look at West Ham, and really the difference with Hernandez playing as the sole front man, and then when Andy Carroll comes back, obviously, we'll talk about Andy Carroll in a minute, but we've just taken him out of the equation. So what was happening was you had Hernandez as your front man, Antonio, as we've just seen, looking to support him, and these players a bit higher up the pitch. So then if you look at the opposition, Ericsson up there, Dele Alli. For example, this weekend, obviously, you've got Dyer, who'll probably sit a little bit, Sissoko can get forward, Trippier, Son, and your three centre-backs. So, as we've spoken about before, with Hernandez as a sole front man, it's very, very difficult for them to play long because there's no real space. There's not that much pace in behind for Hernandez to get onto. He's not a tall target man either. So, your options are, try and play that ball, very risky. Try and play that ball, very risky. Try and play that ball, very risky. These players, like I said, they're quite happy to push up. How congested this is now. So congested in there. So in an ideal world, what they would do is go, okay, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go longer. Because we're going to beat the press, so we're going to go over it. Because that's what teams have been doing. That's what teams are doing to West Ham earlier on this season. But because there is not really that threat in behind, or there's not really that threat of the physical presence, West Ham have tried to play out from the back, and they've been caught out a number of times with it. And as a centre forward, Hernandez, the more frustrated he gets, the more he wants to get involved. The DP drops there, so all of a sudden you've got every single West Ham player in their own half. So if you've got a player like Andy Carroll, he's going to play higher up the pitch. The likes of Antonio, Hernandez, Kouyaté. Let's just move these up a little bit. So if we say Tottenham are going to press high, the wing-backs are going to push really high as well. Trippier is going to come up. Your two defensive midfielders, Sissoko a little bit higher than Dyer. And then you've got your back three, right? So the back three come up. Let's bring Carroll to about here. And then Alderweireld, okay? Now, the thing is, Tottenham are pressing, so realistically, that ball still a very, very tough pass to make. That one's still a tough pass to make. That one's still a tough pass to make. This area, which we've spoken about before, still very congested. All of a sudden now, though, Ogbonna, Reed, Font, Collins, whoever's in there, they now have the option. Go along to Andy Carroll. Go along to Andy Carroll. Go along to Andy Carroll. So, you can beat the press that way. Straight away then, you're going to have Hernandez, he's going to look to gamble, and Antonio. What happens eventually, because you always hear the old theory, you go long to come short. What happens eventually, the likes of Sissoko, they're going to be like, ball keeps going over my head. I'm not going to keep pressing. Trippier, the same with him. Son, the same with him. Ali, Kane, they're probably going, no, we're going to have to drop a little bit deeper. We're going to have to drop deeper because the ball's just going long. All of a sudden, that pass from the back that wasn't on, all of a sudden now, you can play that ball. You can play that ball. And the wing-backs, they can get on the front foot, get higher up the pitch. And that is all because they've earned the right. They've gone long to come short. So it's a big difference with Andy Carroll and the team. It means that, like I said, they've got that focal point. So if teams are pressing high against them, they can actually go that little bit longer and beat the press. Then eventually the opposition, they're going to drop off because the last thing they want to be doing is continuously running back towards their own goal. So he's a massive positive.
Okay, yeah, I see something here, though, that puzzles me. They spent £20 million on Marko Arnautovic. They also spent a lot of money on this man's wages. Is he isolated out there? And how do you get Arnautovic into this system then?
I think first of all, Hernandez at times, there's been questions, has he been isolated at times? Yes, you could say that he has. I wouldn't be surprised to see a change in system. I wouldn't be surprised to see, let's just take for example, if you put Font there, I wouldn't be surprised to see this, a back four, two midfielders there, Hernandez behind Carroll, Antonio on the right, that's where Arnautovic can then come into the left. So that wouldn't surprise me. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it wouldn't surprise me. That way, you get Hernandez supporting Carroll going through the middle. You get Arnautovic playing as well because you spent a lot of money on him. And you've still got a steady and strong back four with two defensive midfielders as well.
Okay.